What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. After Sound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning, so come by and say hello. Okay, one thing that I have been thinking about and talked about a little bit on some of the live streams is Lux Vega and Lux Vega's potential rental value. And this is appealing to me because, as I've said, I think Lux Vega is not necessarily going to be dominant in like a one-on-one matchup. So for the overall like game meta maybe, but in the game, I think Lux can be a dominant summoner that can help with the overall like game management. So what do I mean by that? Well, you'll be able to rent maybe less summoners if you're trying to get up into champion, diamond or champion, for example. You don't need all of them now because you can rent Lux, and Lux might be able to get you 60-70% of the way there, and then you just rent specific splinters, and that could save a lot on rental costs. So you'll see a lot of people going into Lux Vega or renting Lux Vega in order to minimize the amount of summoner rentals that they have. Now, that's just a theory, right? So I don't know if that'll actually play out that way, but prevailing wisdom seems to be that, people want to minimize the amount that they rent in order to maximize their earnings within the game. So what I've done here is I've taken a look at the max level summoners that are available for rent, okay? And as obviously at the top, you can see Kitty, Llama, and Jotun. Now, Kitty's at $5.60, which obviously is by and far away the the highest valued one or highest priced one. You got Llama and Jotun that are between the $1.75 to $2 range, and again, these fluctuate depending on if there's a deal available in the market. But I'm just using this as an overall benchmark. I've seen Kitty $5+ for a while now. I've seen Jotun and Llama anywhere between the $1 to $2 range, and then once you go down below there, it seems like there are some of these older cards such as Prince Renan, Prince Julian, and Valdemar, and then obviously you're going to go down into your untamed legendary summoners, so like Lear Deep Swimmer, Mimosa Nightshade, and Chancius, and these are all in like the 25-cent to 50-cent range. So where does Lux sit within this kind of framework? Actually, you know what? I made a mistake. We shouldn't have looked at legendary only. Let's also take a look here. You can see Myler Crowling is also available for $3.11 and Lorna Shine. So those are really the only two that we need to add into the mix here, because now the question around Lux is, where do you value what Lux will be in terms of its overall rental value? Now, again, I think that Lux isn't going to be necessarily dominant one-on-one against, a Myler or a Kitty or even a Jotun or Llama, right? It's going to be situational, and it could be as good or better, obviously, than where Kelia is right now. And Kelia is by far and away one of the best new summoners, but that's again part in fact to the team that Kelia represents, so her water supporting cast. Now, there are only ever going to be 1,000 Luxes available. Granted, they will all be maxed out summoners, and as you can see here, there's a very low amount of summoners that are available. So like only 10 Kitties available at max level, 3 Mylers, 5 Llamas, 7 Jotuns. So there might actually be quite a few Luxes, but the scarcity could potentially come in because many people who are buying them will probably want to use them. So from a rental perspective, I don't know how many there will be, but it's going to be interesting to see what kind of demand there is overall. Now, again, this is I guess a price prediction, right? But only in the sense of where do I think Lux's value could be from an overall rental value at max level compared to all of the other summoners. Well, I'd say that I wouldn't be surprised to see Lux in the top 5. And the reason that I say that is because I think Lux could be just that valuable. The whole neutral summoner element, the fact that Lux is also what's that called? Modern eligible. So for example, right, you can look at someone like Archmage Arius as like, okay, this was a cool thing, but it was for Dragon only, and it's not, modern eligible, whereas Lux will be, at least in the, for the time being, until Rebellion or I guess until Chaos Legion probably rotates out. So there'll be the Rebellion set that comes out sometime next year, and then 12 to 18 months after that, we'll get the following set, and that's when Lux would rotate out. But Lux still actually has more utility, in my opinion, than something like Archmage Arius. As good as Archmage Arius is, you look at Lux and the fact that you can play Lux in pretty much any battle, whereas Archmage Arius you can't play unless Dragon is available. So to me, that represents quite a bit of utility, that represents quite a bit of demand, and I think there's going to be a lot of players like myself who are, gold level players or below, who will be trying to get Lux or use Lux as a way to reduce the amount of, reduce the amount of cards that you would need to have at max level, and specifically summoners. So when I look at this, okay, so you have your top 5 ranging anywhere from like $1 to $5.60. Kitty is dominant for a reason and is incredibly scarce, especially at the higher levels. So I don't think we're going to be anywhere near Kitty. But I wouldn't be surprised if we were, like I said, in the top 5. So on that lower end, maybe $1 to $2, something similar to Yodin or Llama. Or again, it's one of those things where I think the utility overall of it is going to be just as powerful as what the in-game value is for something like Yodin or something like Llama or Kitty, right? It's just not going to be a game strategy. It's going to be, I reversed it earlier, a game meta strategy. So why is that important to me? Why am I thinking about that? I'm already reserved to get one, but the conversations that I've had have made me think about, do I want to get a second one? And while I'm probably not, most likely not, because I don't want to move the capital around, and you know me, I don't like to invest in cards. This is more just a thought experiment that I'm throwing out to you guys. What I'm thinking about is, well, what is the return on Lux, at least in the immediate future or short to midterm future, where I think Lux can be dominant for the remainder of Chaos Legion and while Rebellion is out. So that gives us a good, 18 months from now, but at least a year, right? Because Rebellion is going to come out sometime next year, and it's not like within the next year we're going to get Rebellion and then whatever set that comes after that rotates whatever Chaos Legion out. So if we go at the low end range, okay, you get it for $1. This is where it gets interesting, and I'm going to pull out some numbers here for you, okay? Again, just a thought experiment. None of this financial advice, but it's just a thought experiment. So we take this and where DEC is right now. So if you were to buy the DEC and vouchers that you needed to get in on this, you can see DEC is 80% of its peg. So 500,000 DEC is what you would need. Therefore, you would only need, I think it's $400, right? 500,000 DEC at peg is, let's just do it this way. 500,000 DEC times 0.0008. It's like, I know what the final answer is, but I was struggling to tell you how I was going to get there. So $400 worth of DEC. And then when you go in the $500 worth of vouchers, 500 times 0.197, that's where vouchers currently are at, is 98.5. So plus the $400, you can get Lux for under $500 if you were to buy your DEC and vouchers right now. And again, this is going to fluctuate, but let's just say you can get Lux Vega for 500 USD. Now, this is the fun part. You go back to this page here where we're looking at the overall prices. And let's say on the low end, you only get $1 for Lux. So all of a sudden you're $1 per day, because again, this is per day, right? $1 per day divided by 500 times 365, right? That's a 73% return. Now, you wouldn't pay off your entire Lux in a year, but you would get a good amount of it back over the next 12 months. And that's at on the lower end of the spectrum for me, right? Again, what's great is that any increase in that all of a sudden becomes not exponential. Obviously, it's still linear, but it's just like if you got up to the $2 range, well, all of a sudden it's going to be close to like what, 150%. 2 divided by 500 is your daily percentage rate times 365 is 146% return rate. So again, am I being too optimistic on Lux? Maybe, right? And again, there's definitely some blind spots here that I'm probably not anticipating or not seeing, but $1 to $2, I think, is actually very reasonable for what I think is going to be one of the most dominant summoners. Again, not in the game itself, but in the overall card collection strategy. And maybe that's how I should be phrasing it, right? As part of your card collection, I think many people are going to want to have Lux available, especially those at the lower level. So again, this isn't only a top player game. This is something where you could go in, rent Lux, and then max out all those super cheap rewards cards and see how far you get, right? Like that could be an interesting way to go about it. You have some Chaos Legion cards leveled up, but then you go and spend to max out your Chaos Legion cards to max level. And again, those are all going for like way cheaper, not pennies on the dollar necessarily, but like let's take a look at what the prices are for something like, you know, Jin Oshana's Countess Sinesh. Actually, a better place to go check this out. And now I'm kind of digressing within this, but hopefully you get my point here. This is more so just out of curiosity that I want to check the Chaos Legion rewards cards. So let's see, rewards frame. If you want them for Diamond Plus, you only got to spend $185 to max all of those reward cards out, right? So now all of a sudden you have a diamond level deck. Again, I know the rewards cards aren't super dominant, but there's some powerful cards in there, and at least you have some maxed out cards. Then you go in, you get strategic about some of the other cards. Maybe you only focus on a couple of splinters, but at least Lux can give you that across all of the other splinters, and then you can rent strategically. This is going to be an interest. It's going to affect the overall game meta very interestingly. So again, I don't know what it is. I don't know what I'm planning to do at this point in time. I don't have the capital. $500 doesn't seem like, you know, in the grand scheme of things, it's a lot of money to some. It's a little money. It's a little amount of money to some. For me, I don't know that I want to spend that much investing in cards. But as I said, this is just more of a thought experiment that I'm not going to pass to you. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. How are you thinking about this? Have you been thinking about this, or is the information that I'm presenting to you brand new and maybe appealing, or maybe it's too much? But do you think, let me ask you this, let's be very specific. Where do you think, let's get some price predictions here. Where do you think the price of Lux is going to be renting out as a max level, only of one of its kind, neutral legendary summoner? Where do you think the price range for that rental is going to be once it hits the market in, I don't know, 3 days, 3 to 4 days? So that's my question for you. I will catch you all in the next video and see you around the game. Take care.